paradise. Ah! I cannot wait. I'm about to click play on season 2. We have much to catch up on. What's going on with our favorite 25,000 people in the bunker? And what's going on with any possible survivors outside the bunker? Well, we shall see. This season, obviously, we end last season. Sterling K. Brown is leaving the bunker. So this season, we're going to meet more characters outside of the bunker, as well as what's happening inside the underground bunker, which is super exciting. We meet Annie, who befriends Gail Edwards, who's the security guard at Graceland. They are working at Graceland and they're supposed to be giving a tour the day that the incident happens. So Annie, who's super smart, who went to medical school, she's quick to be like, okay, these are all the things we need to survive. Annie is someone you definitely need on your team. We see what was happening with the horses. She let the horses go free. We see that she went and broke and got Elvis's revolver. We see the breakdown of society in this episode. There's looting, there's chaos, there's fighting on the streets. We see the effects of President Cal Bradford's decision with the EMP device. So it starts to get freezing nuclear cold by day 19. By day 45, Gail dies. Oh my gosh, R.I.P. Gail, we gonna miss you, girl. And oh my god, just like consider seeing your friend die in front of you after you've been trying to treat her, and now you're all alone, which is so interesting. And Annie just stays in the exact same place. She stays in Graceland. We see that she's there for at least 689 days. So she's there over 2 years, basically, still at Graceland. And then almost 3 years in is when we meet almost 3 years in, their son. The sun is back. The ice is melting. And I said to myself, wait, how has no one tried to loot Graceland before, especially now that sun's melting? How is it so peaceful? Boom, boom, boom. The mercenaries come through. We hear the birds chirping. The plants are so the birds are chirping. The plants are starting to grow again. Here come who we think are the mercenaries. Turns out it's a gang of 5 guys: Link, Geiger, Urkel, Big Papi, and Gator. We learn that Link was working at REI, and so basically he got all the North Face gear, loaded it into a Ford Focus. Look at that product placement, North Face and Ford Focus with the product placements this season. And we learned from Geiger there are 94 national power plants that they've been trying to shut down. We learned that Urkel has a theory about the EMP device. He's absolutely nailed it. We learned that 2/3 of the US population have probably died from this over these past 3 years. Not only from the tsunami that came from the volcano erupting, but also just the societal the collapse of society, basically. This episode is very interesting because it touches on isolation, like the need to survive. Obviously, Annie is isolating herself so that she survives, but it also bridging that with the human need for community, and we see her want to like reach out and be part of community, but the fear of not knowing, and also the fear of like her previous trauma, the fact that she's had to depend on herself for so many years is like blocking her from fully reintegrating with society and community, which is very interesting. We see the guys take potassium, what was it? Potassium iodide preventatively for radiation exposure. And then Annie's like, this is only for hypothyroidism, which is a reminder that in the apocalypse, we will need healers and doctors. We need people to play their parts. We need the people to grow the food. We need the people to be able to build things. We need the people who can protect. We need the people who can take care of the kids. We need the people to heal. And we need doctors. The horse came back to the ranch. Oh my gosh, that made me so happy. Random thought that came to me. Okay, so we know in the bunker they have a hair store, and they thought to take braiding hair. They thought to take braiding hair down to the bunker. What about the people above the bunker? What are we doing for showers? What are we doing for our shampooing, conditioning our hair? Do we have like little fleas and things? Like, do we not fleas? What are they called? What are they called? The things that get in your lice. Oh, lice. Is there lice? Or what is? How are we treating that in the apocalypse? Over 3 years? That's a question. We learned that Link is 25, so he must have been around 22 when the volcano erupted, which could be around the same age as Annie. She dropped out of medical school. She was 3 years in. I do get the vibe that Annie is older. Also, Shailene Woodley, phenomenal actress, is my age, and I know that the guy who plays Link is younger than us, so I'm just getting the vibe that Annie is much older. We learn that there are bad pockets in Arkansas, so keep that for later. At the dinner table, they were like having little bevies. I was like, what are we drinking? Are they brewing their own alcohol, or was this Elvis's supply? The other reason the name of this episode is Graceland is because Graceland was not only Elvis's safe place, it was Annie's safe place. Oh my gosh. Oh, we see this beautiful scene between her and Link. Obviously, the tension, the romantic tension, has been brewing, but also they're young people. And, you know, not only do we have a biological need for community, we also have a biological need for touch. So they're like touching each other for the first time, like touching another person, hugging another person for the first time in 3 years. That was so beautiful. It also reminded me of the pandemic, like not being able to touch someone else because you might get sick, you might die, all of these question marks. That was very beautiful. I loved the we had the needle drop. Okay, I love the needle drop of Unchained Melody, obviously Elvis song. Annie says the 70s are back, which was hilarious. And then you can see how they added in like the armpit hair for her because obviously it's been 3 years. Where was she gonna get a razor to shave? And also, in this apocalypse, we have priorities, and shaving our bodily hair is not the priority. We're trying to stay warm. We're trying to stay fed. We are just trying to survive. So I thought that was beautiful. That was a beautiful little detail that they added in. So then Link finally confides in Annie that they figured out there's a bunker in Colorado, which brings us back to the main plot line, the bunker, aka Paradise. Ding, ding, ding. Link Geiger says to Link, we need to get into the bunker and we need to find Alex. We need to get into the bunker and kill Alex. Who is Alex? Guys, I don't know if was there an Alex in season 1? I don't know if I remember an Alex. MDB Pro right now, and I'm correct. There has not been an Alex that we have encountered thus far. So, we have to keep in mind Alex is our big bad. We need to find out who Alex is. There was another needle drop with Can't Help Falling in Love with You, which I think was Zoe Deschanel. I cannot verify whether or not it was Zoe Deschanel, but it sounded like her vocals. It could be someone else. Annie decides not to join Link and the crew, which devastated me. I mean, at first I didn't want her hanging out with them, but I was just like, girl, clearly you need to be with the society. But her trauma was holding her back, like I brought up before. Time passes. At first, I'm like, how long has it been? Because we see a pepper plant growing. Then the camera pans. We see she is pregnant with a full-on bump. So maybe it's been, you start to show, I believe, around month 3, but that bump is giving 6 to 9 months. So she is a full-on pregnant. She hears what sounds like a bomb eruption. She looks through her telescope and thinks to herself, maybe this is around the bad pockets of Arkansas. And guess who it is? It is our hero, Sterling K. Brown, aka, what is this character's name? Aka Mr. Xavier Collins X, who has landed in the plane that he flew coming out of the bunker from Colorado. And that was episode 1, season 2, Paradise, Graceland. I thought this episode had some really great world building, and it was a nice bridge to what this current season is going to be about. Well done. Very much looking forward to watching more.